Attention please, this is an emergency broadcast of a sort. None of your BBC racist diatribe trash, this is an actual British person. So let's talk. Good evening ladies, gents and Pikachus. Just a quick video before I go to bed, hence my ridiculous Pikachu pyjamas. Yeah, I know, they look a bit gay. I'm comfortable with my sexuality. On to the news. Have you noticed how much racism is on the BBC at the moment? I've literally just gone through like 10 articles and each article is like, hate white people, hate normal, hate white people, hate normal. It makes me angry to read it. But has anyone got the guts to actually say the BBC is outwardly racist and discriminatory against normal British people, and we should actually be calling for the dissolution of the whatever it is? It's not even a company. You know, the Royal Charter should just go in the bin, and all the resources that get wasted on the BBC, they need to follow it into the bin. It's not good enough. Why is no one speaking out against this? Are we happy to have our state broadcaster shitting all over us every single day, causing us problems? Have you noticed how nothing is being invented? No one's inventing wheels or engines or anything. Nothing is going on. Our main export from this country is loans at the moment. That's it. That's the best we can do. We can lend people money who basically don't pay it back. And our economy goes... It's not good enough. So I'm going to go to bed now, and I'm going to try and relax from it. But what I'm going to do in future is, note to self, never read BBC again. Like, I don't usually read it, I only check it so I can update you guys on the news. But I mean, there's no news in there. The sport coverage is terrible. International coverage is terrible. And the worst thing they do is local and regional British news. Like, there's tons of stuff going on out there they could be talking about, but they just don't. They're not willing to talk about proper British news. Like, they don't want to say the police are in crisis. The amount of resources and the amount of officers the police have is at an all-time low compared to the population. We have 100,000 police officers, trained, experienced police officers, that's it, in the whole of Britain. Think about that. We've got 60 million people and we've got 100,000 police officers. So when I'm, you know, in a previous video I was talking about how YouTube moderation is so poor, and I was saying we've got to give YouTube a bit of a, you know, we've got to give them more of a chance and not drop down on them hard like a ton of bricks because they don't have the resources. So it got me thinking, this has got to be a concerted campaign to overwhelm the services. They're overwhelming YouTube's moderation, and here our police are overwhelmed, our hospitals are overwhelmed. It can't go on. So we either need to put a lot more money into the next government, which no one's going to be willing to do because nobody trusts the government because of how they behave and the things they do and say, or we're just going to have to accept that we are going to be the people who police our own lives. We're going to have to risk our own good reputations and our own legal sanity, effectively, in order to provide ourselves with a nice, peaceful, calm environment in which to work so we can be productive. I mean, look at my channel. I've made 500 odd videos and every single one of them has been decrying a problem in this country or something that's happened to British people. That's not what I am. I've just been put in that position. I have to do that now. My own family are all at war. All the other families I know are all at war. Look at the state of the BBC. Look at the state of the energy companies. Energy prices are rocketing up and we're just about to have a really cold winter. It can't go on, guys. We have to do something about it. We can't vote Labour, we can't vote Conservative. They're clearly working together to try and generate a hung parliament so they can both creep into number 10 despite having no votes. The only alternative is like reform or reclaim. I know nothing about these people. All I know is they're not Labour and they're not the Conservative. That's the only reason I think that people are talking about them. They haven't done anything. And the guys, the figureheads, Richard Tice, I mean, I know a little bit about him, but I'm not sure about him. Or about Lawrence Fox. I'm not a fan. I mean, I prefer him to the dickheads we've currently got in Westminster, but I know nothing about this guy, apart from one time he got in trouble for being a misogynist against someone who is a horrible person, but he still was misogynist, whether he was gaslit or not. This can't go on. We need radical, drastic change in our government and in our culture. But not the kind of radical, immediate change that we are having foisted upon us by the powers that be. So, in conclusion, before I go to bed, tomorrow is a new day. We're going to wake up. I'm certainly going to wake up. I'm not going to read BBC. I'm going to completely just avoid all manner of BBC reporting. I mean, journalism sucks anyway, but this is a new low. This is like reading sewage. It's just disgusting and I hate it. So, what do we do? Well, I don't know. But I know one thing. I just deleted a guy off my page and his only video was Islam will dominate the world and his name was Mossad go to hell or something. I can't remember, something like that. So I reported him as hate speech. That is hate speech. Saying Islam will dominate the world and having a black guy doing this and then just posting all over pages like mine about British culture, that is legitimate racism hate speech. Why don't the BBC talk about that? Ever thought about that? I've thought about it a lot, and I know exactly why I think they don't report it, but I can't say, because as soon as I criticise them, I will be called homophobic and racist. Because the people in control of the BBC are American Africans, and half of them are not straight people, they're like LGBT gay or whatever. Which is fine, but they're using those people to avoid fair criticism. They know we cannot criticise African Americans or gay people being straight, white, British people, we just can't. But that's racism. That is just racism, I'm sorry. So we need to accept that the BBC is a racist sewage pile. And everyone who listens to them is brainwashed and propagandised and is starting to hate themselves. And that's why productivity has dropped. So in conclusion, let's wake up tomorrow and realise we are not racist, hateful people, but neither are we weak slaves of, you know, the incoming communist revolution. We are strong British people and we are democratic types here. We're tolerant, yes, but we're not mugs. And that's the end of this video. So let's just get our heads together tomorrow and figure out what the fuck we are going to do in preparation for this coming next election, because it is clearly rigged. We know that already. We're not even anywhere near it and you can just see it coming. It's completely rigged. So that's the end of this video. I'm going to go to bed now with my heating switched off with like 10 layers on so that my money doesn't go into the coffers of our enemy. I'm going to wake up with freezing cold feet and have to put 2 layers of socks on while I eat my breakfast because I don't want to be ripped off just for the sake of putting on my radiators. And then I'm going to spend the whole day thinking, right, Britain is worth more than this. Britain is worth a fight to recover it. Come on. This is our country. This is our country. So let's get it done. Let's fight for this place and get the power back where it belongs, in our hands. You and me. Let's do it. Right, I'll see you tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed this. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Half of me is panicking, thinking we've left this too late. But then the other half of me is thinking, thank God we noticed it when we did. Because this country is worth the fight. And it's a fight we can win. So have a good night, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye now. Bye bye.